on the first one here, we need to subtract 9 on all three sides. We have negative 13 is less than or equal to 6x, which is less than or equal to 3. And then we're dividing everything by 6. We want to reduce, so negative 13 over 6 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 1/2. And then I want to draw a number line. Negative 13 over 6, I always like to have a 0 on the number line. And then 1/2 right here. Since it's less than or equal to, we close the dot. We connect the two dots. When you're doing inequality with an absolute value, when it's less than, it's a combined statement. But in this case, a greater than, we flip the sign and make the number negative. And then we write it down as if. Or as is, I should say. Okay. And the idea is if I can make 8x plus 16 less than negative 40, the absolute value of a number less than negative 40 is bigger than 40. And obviously the absolute value number bigger than 40 is still going to be bigger than 40. So here we subtract 16 on both sides. 8x is less than negative 56. We divide 8, x is less than negative 7. Here we subtract 16 on both sides. 8x is greater than 24. We divide 8, x is greater than 3. When I go to graph, negative 7, 0, and 3. I have an open dot over my 3. I have an open dot over my 7 because it's just a greater than. Less than negative 7 goes in the direction to the left. Greater than 3 goes in the direction to the right. Next one, we're just graphing a line that's an inequality. I subtract 3x on both sides, so I'm solving for my y. Negative 4y is greater than negative 3x plus 12. I divide everything by negative 4, which means we flip the inequality, and we're left with 3 4x minus 3. Okay, when I graph that line, my y-intercept is negative 3. I'm going up 3 over 4, up 3 over 4. From here, down 3, left 4. And I can do it again, down 3, left 4. And it's a dotted line. I do need to shade here, so I plug 0, 0 in. 3 times 0 times minus 4 times 0 is greater than 12. And 0 is greater than 12, that's a false statement. So we shade away from the 0, 0. Here, my translation is simply up 4. There's no movement right or left here. My vertex here is going to be 0, 4. So I pick an x below 0 and above 0. Absolute value of negative 1 is 1, 1 plus 4 is 5. Absolute value of 1 is 1, 1 plus 4 is 5. And I plot the 3 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 4. 1, 5, negative 1, 5. And it creates a V. Down here, I need to deal with the negative b over 2a. That's going to give me my vertex, and then plugging that value of x in for x will give me the y coordinate of my vertex. The y-intercept I can get right away. It's negative 4. So for my vertex, negative b over 2a is negative 4 over 2 times 2. Which is negative 4 over 4, which is 1. So the x coordinate of my vertex is 1, which means the axis of symmetry is x equals 1. Now, we plug 1 in for x. So y equals 2 times 1 squared minus 4 times 1 minus 4. Y equals 2 times 1 is 1 squared is 1. Now I do my multiplication, which is 2 minus 4 minus 4, which equals a negative 6. So my y coordinate of my vertex is negative 6. vertex 1, negative 6, 1, 2, 1, negative 6 down here. I have a y-intercept at negative 4. I went over 1, I go over another 1. And this is my parabola. And x equals 1 is my axis of symmetry. When we factor x minus 7, x plus 2. There's no GCF, so I can go right to the parentheses. Once I'm done, I do need to finish the problem by setting each parenthesis equal to 0. So x equals 7, and x equals a negative 2. Completing the square, we need to have a 1 in front of our x squared. So we divide everything by the coefficient in front of the x squared, which in this case is 3. And I'm left with x squared plus 8x minus 2 equals 0. I'm going to add 2 to both sides. Move that constant over. And then it's half of 8 squared. X squared, half of 8 is 4, squared is 16. Now I add 16 to the other side. X squared plus 8x plus 16 is x plus 4 squared equals 18. Square root of both sides. X plus 4 equals plus or minus. I'm going to simplify that radical. It's 3 root 2. If you simplify radicals, it's simply a prime factorization. 2 goes in 18 9 times. 3 goes in 3 times. The pair goes on the outside. The prime number goes on the inside. And then we finish by subtracting 4 on both sides. So x equals negative 4 plus or minus 3 root 2. Quadratic formula. Once my trinomial set equal to 0, my a is 2, my b is negative 7, and my c is negative 8. So that's a negative negative 7 plus or minus negative 7 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 8 over 2 times 2. Negative negative 7 is 7. Negative 7 squared is 49. Negative 4 times 2 times negative 8. Double negative becomes a positive 64 over 4. Now if you can simplify, you should. But in this case, we can't simplify, so 49 and 64 is 113. So it's 7 plus or minus root 13 over 4, and I leave the answer as such. Should be parentheses here. Here I'm going to simplify. 4 minus a negative 3 is x to the 7th. 1 minus 7 is a negative 6. Now I distribute the cubed. X to the 21, y to the negative 18. We don't need negative exponents in your answer. X to the 21st, y to the 18th. Finally, synthetic division. We have our negative 2, which makes that divisor equal to 0. 1, 3, negative 4, negative 8. Drop the first term. We're multiplying and adding. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. 3 and negative 2 is 1. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Negative 4 and negative 2 is negative 6. Negative 6 times negative 2 is 12. Negative 8 and 12 is 4. Remainder constant x squared. So my answer of x squared plus x minus 6 plus 4 over x plus 2.